them and see. Left, right to left, right to left. Liz Peek, columnist with FoxNews.com and the Fiscal Times. Sue Kelly in the middle there, former New York Republican Congresswoman and 2012 Romney delegate. And, of course, Jamu Green, Fox News contributor. Good to see you all.
Nice to be here.
I want to tackle the Boehner question first. Speaker Boehner has come in for some criticism from the right of his party. Mike was talking about his role in all of this as well. He's certainly leading the Republican side, but Liz, there seem to be many Republicans on the right of the party not happy with Speaker Boehner.
Yeah, I actually think nothing could be better for Republicans right now than to have the conservatives go after Boehner, because I know that's the outlier.
Nothing could be better for the Republicans?
Right. Why is that? Because the public has the view that the Republicans are the party of no, they're intransigent, they're stubborn. So let them see that Boehner is pursuing what is a reasonable proposal in the absence of a coalition with the far right, with people who have made this conversation extremely difficult. Look, the country wants a deal, but they also want spending cuts. So the president's proposal was completely idiotic. It didn't really go to any of the issues that are extremely important for this country in the long term. Boehner's proposal was much more realistic. We need to get people on the side of that. And having the media saying, oh, the conservative faction is really on his case, I think most Americans would say, well, that's good. He must be. I actually spent last evening with Alan Simpson. The best thing about Simpson Bowles was everybody hated it. You knew it was a good deal.
Sue, how significant is this rebellion, if that's not too strong a word, against John Boehner?
I think it's very interesting that Boehner took the step of calling a conference and saying, okay, where are you? Are you with me on this? This is what I see. This is how I think it needs to be done. Are you with me? And the conference backed him very strongly. So it's a few people. There's always outliers. There's outliers on both sides of the fence on both bodies of Congress. And so I think it will resolve itself, but I hope that it will resolve itself in Boehner's favor. Right. What Boehner has offered is something that seems to me much more fair for the people of the United States. I laugh about people talking about paying a fair share. Why is it fair to be good at what you do and earn more money? And I mean, how is that fair that we now tax you more?
Jamu, let me stick with Speaker Boehner first here. Do you think this is a sort of significant showdown between perhaps the more moderate wing of the Republican Party, represented by Speaker Boehner, and the Tea Party? Will this change the way Republicans work on Capitol Hill, do you think?
It's not significant at all. Boehner is stronger than ever before. If in the past you saw Eric Cantor making some moves and, kind of going his own way, what we've seen recently is Cantor signing off on Boehner's plan. Yes, there are some far-right folks and the Tea Party folks who are upset that they were pushed off of committees, but the reality is they are weaker in this Congress, or upcoming Congress, than they were before. It's almost like, Boehner is looking at these newer members, more conservative members, and saying, you should have listened to me in the first place when we were having the debt ceiling crisis, back in the summer, and that might have actually affected the election in the favor of Republicans in a better way, and it didn't. But at this point in time, Boehner has more strength as the speaker than he ever has in the past couple of years. Now, what does he do with that is the question. Right. What he's done with his first proposal, I do have to take a little bit of note with, kind of the Republican talking points about the president's offer being laughable. By a 2-to-1 margin, the American people have said they want the wealthiest 2% in this country to pay higher taxes.
And by the way,
they have been very clear. For 2 years, the president campaigned on this, and he won on it.
The president, we're talking of Boehner having the whip hand within his own party. Right. The president certainly, according to the polls, as Jamu rightly points out, seems to have the whip hand in the court of public opinion and on the bigger stage.
Right. But people would like very much to have the wealthy pay more taxes. Right. On the other hand, if you ask them, are you wealthy? Most people say, no, I don't think so, even if they are. And that's an interesting statistic, and there's stats to prove that.
But 2%, the top 2%. We're going to keep tax rates low for the 98% of Americans.
Wait a minute, Jamu. The deal is that, let me finish my point. My point is that 63% of Americans do not want their taxes raised, and Obama will raise their taxes on everybody.
Where are you getting that from? 98% of Americans' tax rates.
Let me get Liz back in here.
Okay. I'm talking about
taxes. Liz is coming back in now.
I'm going to shock you all by saying that I wrote a year ago that tax rates should go up on the top 2%.
Really?
Right? Actually, I think it was the top 1 or 5%. Yes, because that's all President Obama has campaigned on. That's his entire plan for fixing our debt situation, and it isn't sufficient. And really, Jim,
but he has a mandate for it? No?
Pardon me?
Having won, having won the election, has a mandate for that?
I think people are going to put taxes up on wealthy people, whether it's done via a rate increase or deductions. I don't care. I think the most depressing thing here, look, everyone's going to end up paying more taxes. Forget it. I mean, taxes are going up pretty much on everyone eventually because our budget situation is completely critical. And if you don't get it federally, you'll get it by the states. But the depressing thing is we are going to end up with a sloppy deal here, just as we did a year ago. Last year and in every year, there are 4,000 changes to the tax code. Mostly they're people who red tie get a special tax break in December for wearing a red tie. They are so stupid. We need to review this to have everyone have a sense that it is a fair tax code. To Sue's point, excuse me, we have a very steeply graduated tax program in the United States. The top 5% pay an enormous amount of all taxes. There's no denying that, all right? So you can make it slightly steeper. But most people don't know that. Most people, if you poll them on what do you think the top 2% are paying, they have no idea.
I want to bring in, let me just bring in, hold that, Jamu. I just want to bring in some of our viewer comments here because everybody's excited about, or fired up, shall we say, about this. Can you read this? Says, let's be fair and let everyone pay income tax because everyone is getting money even if they don't work. J.D. LaPointe says, Congress was united against Reagan and Clinton. There was not a powerful dissent. With a more divided powerhouse, this is going to test as to which house is stronger. If the Senate wins, you might see a filibuster rule in the House to help the minority party there. Ted Yost says, good Lord, these people have to grow up there, all looking like fools, Democrats and Republicans alike. And Big Vinny says, everybody wants everybody else to pay more. We're as stupid as the folks in Washington think we are. Okay, Jamu, the floor is yours.
I think the president has been very clear in every single one of his proposals that he's looking at this in a balanced way. He has already signed $1.1 trillion in spending cuts. He has said he is willing to put more spending cuts on the table, and the Republicans have, because of whatever tax pledge they've taken with Grover Norquist, or just thinking that they are only beholden to the small percentage of Republicans who are the ones who don't want to see tax rates increase, they are acting like children. And the only way that a deal is going to be struck is if there's a balanced approach where you do have spending cuts that the president is willing to make on entitlements, and you also have increases in the tax rate. And it's not just going to come, revenue cannot only come through deductions. And I think the president's been clear. I sat down with the president actually last week. I want to say this. I sat down in the White House with the president last week, and he was very clear. The tax rates on the wealthiest are going up. It's either going up to a deal.
These are Democrat.
Come on, this is 2 against 1. I didn't interrupt y'all. Let me at least get a point out. Y'all both got to talk.
You did.
And it's literally 2 against 1. And my one is actually where 70% of the American people are. It's where the president is. It's where he campaigned on this for 2 years. And there is more than a mandate from this, because this is also coming from business leaders. This is also coming from Wall Street.
You don't get to talk.
They are all willing.
Let's let the others ladies come in now. I think.
But I'm all right. So, I already said to you, I thought taxes should go up on the higher income Americans. The issue is it should be balanced. President Obama is totally correct on that. His proposal is not balanced.
That's right.
Simpson-Bowles had, what was it, 4-to-1 or 3-to-1 spending cuts to higher
more
revenues.
Spending cuts in that
you know it's not true, that it's fictitious. Have you gone through the budget numbers?
More spending cuts than were recommended.
That's a talking point. That's a talking point.
All right, let's one at a time. Let's do Sue now. Your thoughts on that?
Those are talking points. The reality of what President Obama wants is no cuts in entitlements. He wants to raise taxes on the wealthy. That's true. But in addition to that, the president has already got in place taxes that are going to go up on medical care. The taxes are going to go up on capital gains. They are also going to go up on dividends. People, the senior citizens of this country, many of them live on capital gains and on their capital gains and also on dividends. He's not even thinking of the seniors whose incomes will be.
I don't think that's funny.
I don't think it's funny.
That's not.
It's
why do you laugh at
laughable
that?
to say that he's not thinking of seniors when his
taxing their income.
entire plan is looking at a balanced way of coming together with a deal where you're not having seniors and the middle class take the entire hit, which is what Republicans want to do.
Seniors
They want to
are already
balance this
taking the
budget
hit because
on
of
the backs
interest rates
of
being so
seniors,
low.
the middle class, and the low-income class.
seniors
have
taken a lot.
It is laughable
No.
to deny what most economists say, to deny what even the job creators are saying in favor of protecting
All right.
the wealthiest.
As you are outnumbered 2-1, that will be the last word on the fiscal cliff, so you get the last word on it. I want to move on to